The Embassy of Belgium to Kazakhstan opened its doors in 2006. Since then, Belgium and Kazakhstan have been engaging in various fields of cooperation, from finance and investment to cultural exchange. Today, Kazinform interviews Ambassador of Belgium to Kazakhstan, Henri, Vantieghem, and Honorary Consul, Denis van den Weghe. Welcome. Thank you for joining this interview.
Well, thank you for your kind words, and welcome to the residents of Belgium here in Astana. Indeed, we opened the embassy in 2006, but our diplomatic relations started earlier. It's already started in 1992, and last year, 2022-2023, we celebrated the 30th anniversary of the diplomatic relations between Belgium and Kazakhstan.
Let us start from the first question. On June 5th, at the first meeting of the Kazakh-Belgian Business Council in Astana, the ambassador of Kazakhstan in Brussels, Margulan Baymukhan, spoke about possible cooperation in the fields of logistics, energy, pharmaceuticals, digital technologies, and other industries. Tell us about the planned projects in these fields, particularly logistics and energy.
Well, thank you for this very important question, because indeed, the collaboration between Belgium and Kazakhstan is mainly in the commercial and economic field. I have an excellent relation with His Excellency Margulan Baymukhan in Belgium, Ambassador of Kazakhstan to Belgium, and we work together to enhance this bilateral relation. Actually, it's easy to work together because we have also the EPCA with the European Union, which is the general agreement for enhancing partnership with Kazakhstan. So our work is in the framework of this EPCA from the European Union. When His Excellency President Kassym-Jomart Tokayev visited Belgium in November 21, he met our Prime Minister and he proposed to establish a business council. We started to think about this proposal that was accepted by our Prime Minister, and we decided to organize it on base of the Chamber of Commerce. For Belgium, we have here a Benelux Chamber of Commerce, and for Kazakhstan, there is Atameken International Chamber of Commerce. And that's why I will share the words with the president of our Benelux Chamber of Commerce, who was in charge of organizing the first business council in June 22, and now we just had on the end of May, I think, 29th of May, the second one in Almaty. The first one was in Astana, now we're Almaty. We hope that next year might be in Brussels. Thank you.
Thank you very much, dear Ambassador. Thank you very much for inviting us to this interview. So as my function as the president of the Chamber of Commerce of Benelux, which I'm having next to my functions as the Honorary Consul of Belgium. We have indeed held this Business Council last year, and this year was the second time. If we talk about the Trans-Caspian corridor, the middle corridor, we have two big Belgian companies who are also in our chamber, who are actively working there to enable companies to use this middle corridor in the future. One of them is Jan de Nul. They have a big dredging project which will enable bigger ships to arrive to the ports of Aktau. Another company, Sarens, which has been in Kazakhstan for many, many years, besides their number one activity, which is cranes to lift very heavy material, they also are in multimodal transport. So if any goods will come from Europe, which are oversized, they arrive to the port, then they need to be transported by road. Well, they can do that. So two of our main Belgian companies are linking East and West with their efforts in this project.
I think indeed we have a large field of cooperation in this establishment of the Trans-Caspian corridor, but it's not the only one. We are also active in critical raw material, and that's a memorandum of understanding that Kazakhstan has established with the European Union. We try to exploit, to use these raw materials because it's a critical question for European Union. We do not have these minerals and this ore in Europe, and we need partners. And Kazakhstan and Central Asia in whole is the partner that we really need to maintain the level of our industry in Europe. Having said that, it's a bilateral issue, because having our industry, it's profitable for Kazakhstan as well, because we will establish a lot of investment to deliver the quantity we need of these critical raw materials. Last year there were two very big events in Brussels, not linked to Belgium directly but to the European Union, but it happened in Brussels, capital of Europe, of course. It was the Critical Raw Material Week in November 22, and in January 23 we had this investors forum for the Trans-Caspian corridor, because if we have a lot of goods to import from Asia and critical raw material to move from Kazakhstan and Central Asia, we need to transport, and we need so the middle corridor or Trans-Caspian corridor in order to reach Central Asia easier. So it's a project that is sharing peace in the region, sharing development in the region, and sharing knowledge and technology in logistics. But having said that again, we said that pharmaceutical is also a very important part of our exports to Kazakhstan. We have very, very famous pharmaceutical industry in Belgium, and we share this technology with Kazakhstan with some investment as well. Some companies who are present in Kazakhstan are investing a lot in laboratories and development of new medicines from Europe to Kazakhstan. That's it. So it's a lot.
That leads me to the next question. Currently, 76 companies with Belgian capital operate on the Kazakh market. In what areas do these companies operate? We talked about some of them in the first question. Are these Belgian businesses planning to expand their presence in Kazakhstan?
Well, you know, there is sometimes business secret, because there is big competition in the market. And Kazakhstan is a very attractive market, so there are many, many companies willing to come to the Kazakh market. And I think we have plans, and our company have very large plans towards Central Asia, but they do not want to disclose all of their plans. But maybe you can say a bit more about some companies. Yes. So, for their activities.
Yes, thank you. Recently, actually last year, one huge Belgian corporation with a couple of billion euros in turnover per year worldwide, they are in food supplements. They have opened an R&D center in Almaty. Okay, they used to be very active in Russia, where they still have 3 factories, because food is not sanctioned as of for now. But anyways, they see the need to increase their presence in Kazakhstan and push more business towards Kazakhstan for the future, to be more stable in the region, etc. So this is one company who has done a big investment. We have another company who is looking at an investment in a big logistics terminal to serve its current and future clients to the level of Europe's standards, okay? A high-tech logistics terminal. This investment could reach $80 to $100 million in the next 10 years. Then many companies have activities which do not require big capital efforts. Yes, they have no big investments, but they are present here with their products. We have one chemical company in Atrao. They have a storage which allows them also to get their products quicker to their clients. So as you can see, there's many different areas. Yes, in pharmaceuticals, one of our companies had a worldwide vaccine which was very successful, and besides this vaccine, which they were known for during the time of COVID, they have a very big range of products in their supply chain, which they are also selling here for many years successfully. As mentioned earlier by the ambassador, there's other medical applications, for example, in nuclear medicine. Okay, we are worldwide leaders in nuclear medicine, and Kazakhstan is making usage of these technologies to treat their cancer patients. So we are already present here for a couple of decades, But now in the last couple of years, we see that there is an increase that will allow us to go to the next stage. Okay, the chamber was created in 2021, and we really see in the last 3 years that so much more is happening than in the last 10 years, for example.
Nothing to add. I think it's very clear and complete. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Honorary Consul, could you please tell us, are there any plans to open branches of Belgian banks in Kazakhstan?
It's a very interesting question because we have different understandings of financial markets between Kazakhstan and Belgium, because historically we have big banks. Okay? I think we can count probably on one hand the big banks we have in Belgium. And in Kazakhstan there's so many banks. I think there's more than 20 easy. So the volatility on the market with many banks being active here is one thing. The other thing is that many of the Belgian banks are very conservative. At some point in time, when the European Union was increasing its size, some of the banks went to markets like Romania, Bulgaria, Czech Republic, etc., Slovakia. Many have retrieved from these markets already. So this is our, let's say, home markets. This is Europe. So we have retrieved from these markets. So coming all the way to Central Asia, to put a bank here, it's impossible. At this moment in time, it's impossible. There's one international bank, Citibank, who is active here. They are servicing their big corporate clients. There's a certain set of criteria. For example, you need to have a minimum turnover per year here of 100 or 120 million dollar or euro, or you need to be part of their worldwide network of clients, etc., etc. So even Citibank, which has all the possibilities, they only service a couple of clients, and even try to lower this amount of clients to have big margins and not too much work, and just be present here, no risk, no nothing. So I find it very highly unlikely that in the next 5 years something will move, probably even 10 years, maybe 15 years, if we talk Belgian banks.
However, despite this, what can you say about Belgium's view regarding Kazakhstan's investment policy and investment potential?
Okay, this is something completely different. So the investment climate in Kazakhstan is very good. The government is always listening very carefully to companies, even going into individual requests from companies if the project is big, if the investment is big. So the government in Kazakhstan is always taking a customized approach towards companies and projects which are key to develop their economy further, yes, to diversify the economy, to make sure that there is a good pool of companies creating a lot of jobs and wealth for the country. So in general, the legal system, the tax system, everything is quite stable. Of course, your country has only gained independence a little bit more than 30 years ago, so you cannot say that all institutions are as strong as our institutions, which we've been building for more than 150 years. But it's work in process, and it's already very good. And I'm sure that if we look at the last couple of years with some reforms taking place, etc., it's only going to become better. And definitely within the wider region, even if we go further than Central Asia, it's probably one of the best investment climates around.
What do you think is the biggest advantage of Kazakhstan?
I think their openness. There's many separate advantages for separate industries. If you look at agriculture, of course the huge land mass and the low cost of employees is a very big plus. If you look at renewable energies, the fact that there's so many days of sun here, of course it's better to have solar panels here than in Belgium, where we have so much rain, unfortunately. But as a country, for all industries combined, that's a very interesting question I never heard. Maybe the people, because it's a melting pot here, due to the horrors from Stalin's time when he sent all these different nationalities here. You have very interesting mixes in culture and traditions, and all of this creates some openness, because nobody is against a Korean or a Tatar or a Ukrainian or a Russian or a Jewish person. They're all living in the same community, and all of the Kazakhs have friends from all these communities. So already, if you take them as employees into your company, for example, a Belgian company setting up here, they are already open. They are already always, I guess, ready to go to out of the box thinking and doing something new. This is probably the main, the human capital of the country. And since I came in 2009, since I moved in 2009, it's been 15 years. It was 16 million people when I arrived. Now we're at 20 million people. So the curve of growth of the population is huge. And this is only going to increase exponentially. So the people, the human capital here has very big potential. I guess as a consumer market for our various companies from Belgium, the more mouths to feed, the more people to wear clothes, to buy accessories, the more consumers you have for your industry.
Last but certainly not least, what in your opinion the future holds for our cooperation?
There is never ever a point where you can say, oh, now we're done. We're never done. We're always continuously evolving. As people, as countries, as two countries together, there is a constant evolution. No revolution, only evolution. Kazakhstan is gaining importance nowadays because previously many European countries were active in Russia with huge natural resources available, and this is now gone, meaning that you need to look for alternatives. Because we have so many industries we are developing in Europe. One of them is the car industry, where everybody needs to go from normal gasoline to electrical batteries. So where do we get the natural resources from then? Highly likely it will be a big portion from Kazakhstan. So Kazakhstan will play a more and more key role on the international stage in terms of supply chain of natural resources to be able to do the transition from gasoline to electrical car driving.
Let us touch upon cultural exchange. In 2023 alone, Kazakhstan and Belgium held major events related to cultural exchange, like, for example, screening of the film Dos Mukasan in Brussels. Recently, a Francophonie section was opened at the National Library in Astana with a number of books provided by Belgium. What can you tell us about the future of Kazakh-Belgian cultural exchange?
Well, I think that cultural exchange is very important for having good relations between people to people. And that's why I commend His Excellency Margulan Baymukhan, Ambassador of Kazakhstan to Belgium, to have such a high level of activity in Belgium and to organize so many events. I think that indeed, I have to say that 25 years ago, 30 years ago, Kazakhstan was not a name that was known in Belgium. Now everybody knows where it is and the importance of this country in Central Asia. So it's a new development. And cultural relations are the basic of this new development for people-to-people relations, as I said. Indeed, we have organized here many manifestations and demonstrations for the 30th anniversary of the bilateral relations. This year we intend to have a chef coming from Belgium and having two gala dinner in Astana. Last year we organized also one gala dinner in Astana and another one in Almaty with a very famous chef coming from Belgium. It was Yves Matagne, who is worldwide known. You know, culture in Belgium is very important. We have many painters, musicians, in the literature. But the main activity for the Belgian is food. They eat a lot in Belgium and they love very good quality of food. And that's why we intend to have this kind of cultural manifestation, because for us it's indeed a cultural thing, a way of life to Kazakhstan. And it was very successful. I think also the counterpart of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we could develop this kind of activities. And at the same time, every 6 weeks I have the projection, the showing of a Belgian film here at the residence. And we have a public about 25-30 persons every time, and they can have an access to the Belgian cinema, which is a very important cinema these days because it is qualified as surrealist cinema. So all the stories that are told by filmmakers in Belgium are stories that are not always realistic stories, but some kind of dream of a special life. Might not be even a perfect life. It might be a different way of approaching the meaning of life. And they call it surrealism. And so I try to show that here at the residence to a Kazakh public. I am very pleased to say that we have a lot of people coming here, young people from Kazakhstan, from universities, from Nazarbayev University, from Kazgu universities, and from different schools, also from French Alliance. At the same time, I have to say that in Belgium we have two official languages, actually three, but two main official languages, Flemish and French, and also German, but German is for a smaller community in Belgium, but Flemish and French, and so we have the activities in both languages here in the embassy as well.
I have one more question, if you allow me. I had a question about education, because cultural cooperation is also about exchanging not only cultures through food or movies, but also through youth. Do you have any opinions or thoughts about the future of cooperation in education between our countries?
Yes, indeed, and we are developing this cooperation between universities, and Belgium has started with a structural agreement with Bolashak, and we have now almost altogether more than 300 Kazakh students who have studied in Belgium, and we are promoting to enhance this number year by year in the future. Bolashak is a very interesting program, and we try to give the best education as possible to the student coming to Belgium. You have to know that the Belgian superior education system, universities, is fully public funded. So the tuition fee for registration at a university for a student is only 1,000 euro a year. So it's very low, and you can have an excellent education because at least 3 of our main universities are ranked in the international ranking, I think it's Shanghai ranking of universities worldwide, and we are always in the 100 first universities in the world, and for a cost that is extremely low. So they are public funded, even if they have a kind of private functionment system. We can manage to have this high level of education for a very affordable price. We have also some professors from Belgian university coming to Kazakhstan. It's already the case. We can maybe increase the number of professors coming here, but my feeling is that it's better for Kazakh students to go abroad and to have an experience abroad than to pay for a professor from Belgium or from Europe or for the rest of the world coming to Kazakhstan. It's a possibility. They will have more contact with students here, but the best way, I think, is to give to the students the experience of going abroad. And I would like to see also some Belgian students coming here for some special studies, for instance, language studies, Turkic language studies, for agriculture, because our agriculture is very well developed, but we do not have enough surfaces. We have small countries in size, and here you have a lot of possibilities to develop agriculture. So I think it would be great to exchange these experiences between our countries, indeed.
My next question is about a different topic entirely. It's about politics. Recent article by President Tokayev talks about middle powers and how they must come forward and renew vigor and declare their role not only as participants but also as responsible players on the global stage. Do you think middle powers have the ability, the capacity? Can they really change the political agenda today?
I think that His Excellency President Kassym-Jomart Tokayev put his finger on the right issue for the next century, for this 21st century. Well, I said the next century because I was born in the previous century, almost from the old past. And indeed, when I was a young student at university, it was a bipolar world. You had the free world and then the Soviet world. And every single island in the Pacific, Fiji, for instance, was a part of this bilateral world. They had to connect with one or the other side of the world. This has totally vanished. And now we are in a multipolar world. And in this multipolar world, I think that indeed the middle power have a role to play. Because we cannot leave world politics in hands of few countries. Actually, I can compare the situation of Kazakhstan with the situation of Belgium in the 19th century. You know, we are a small country and we were surrounded by empires. Northward, we had the British Empire across the Channel. Southward, we had the French Empire. And eastwards, we had the German Empire. And we were there a quite developed country, industrialized country, very rich country. But between these empires, we were all have their own views on the future of the world. So we could develop some kind of middle power views even in the 19th century surrounded by this empire. And I think that Kazakhstan is almost in the same situation now. We started with connection and integration in the Benelux because we were three countries there in the middle of this Central European part of Western Europe, surrounded by empire. There was the Netherlands, Belgium, and Luxembourg. And we started with a kind of integration, a cooperation between these countries, Benelux, Belgium, Netherlands, Luxembourg. And I think that it's a kind of model for Central Asia, kind of example for middle powers to have cooperation together and to make not a bloc, but at least a coherent part of the world politics, and to have a word to say at the world level in the United Nations. Because a multipolar world means also multilateralism, and this means the promotion of international organizations. International organizations, and the most famous and the most important one is the United Nations. And if we have a role to play in the United Nations, it's through this power of the middle power together to try to balance the superpowers who are still very influential in the world politics. So I mean that multilateralism is a very important part of the future, a peaceful future of the world. And in this multilateralism, the middle power have a very important role to play. And I won't say only Kazakhstan, but also Brazil, European Union, I would say the African countries, they have to be a part of this multipolar world in the multilateral system.
Last but certainly not least, what do you think the future holds for our cooperation?
Well, I think it might only be a bright future, because I don't see any obstacle between Kazakhstan and Belgium in a foreseeable future. We have the same interests, we have the same views, we share this interest for multilateralism, and we hope that peace will remain the basic of the relations between countries in this century. Peace means also a kind of respect and balanced relations. So we do not accept any violation of the Charter of the United Nations, which is the basic of the international law, and we do respect also international justice that must be applied to all different countries in the world without any exception. Peace is also responsibility, and we are responsible to maintain and to guarantee peaceful relations between nations. And this is the interest of Belgium, the Benelux, the European Union, and from Kazakhstan and Central Asia as well.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ambassador.
Köp rahmet. Kelgel Deniz'e Belgika rezidensiye köp rahmet.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for inviting us to this very interesting interview, and we're always glad to be invited for another opportunity just like this.